What do you want to be remembered for? I think it's a really thought-provoking question. But one that I think is even deeper is, what are you doing about it today? I was recently tidying up and I came across my old goals list that I'd written in my early 30s. So with excitement, I was thinking, how many of these can I actually tick off the list? And number 4, it actually made me laugh out loud at the naivety in my 30s. It said, I want to leave a legacy. I thought, how backwards is that? Legacy, as if it's something I'm leaving. But legacy isn't future tense. Legacy isn't something that we leave. Legacy is something that we live. And it's what we're doing right now. Just last week, I had my nephews and my sister out for half term. And we were chatting about my granny. Now, my granny's not been with us for 10 years. But it occurred to me in the conversations that my nephews had no idea who my granny was. Very fuzzy memories. And then I thought, I wonder if my nephews are going to remember, if they have children, Auntie Kelly. I thought, do you know what? I'm going to ask my friend, ChatGPT, and see what they say or he says when I type in. And you know what? 3rd generation. By the 3rd generation, our name isn't remembered. So all this effort that we're putting into what we leave behind as a legacy, I think we're thinking about it all wrong. The reality is, your personal brand, it's not a performance. It's legacy in motion. And legacy in motion, well, that is all about how you make people feel. I think it's the person that you might inspire to find their voice. It might be someone that maybe wants to start on the entrepreneurial journey. Or it could be the colleague who watches you show up every single day and thinks, you know what? Maybe if you can do it, then so can I. That's legacy happening real time. It's about how you make people feel. I recently delivered a personal branding session for a group of executives. And always at the end, I like to ask the question about, what's one thing you're going to action? What are you going to do? And I tend to get the typical responses back. There'll be I'm going to update my LinkedIn profile. Great stuff. I'm going to get some new pictures taken. Someone will say, I'm going to speak up more in meetings. Great stuff. But I paused at one gentleman because he said, Kelly, I'm going to do all of that. But I'm also going to stop for some flowers on the way home for my wife. Because today I have realized that personal brand isn't just who I am in the office. It is also who I am at home. And as he said that, I thought, if it wasn't such a professional setting, I would have ran over and hugged him. Because that's the shift. That's the impact. It's not in the metrics. It's in the meaning. I believe that we have outgrown the old rules of personal branding. Let's call them for what they are, the fake it till you make it. No, I think it's people crave real authenticity. I think there's the overly filtered Instagram picture. No, people want real moments and real time. The one that I see a lot, and maybe you've seen it before, the I'm thrilled to announce post on LinkedIn. Yeah, it's the corporate AI speak that no one resonates with. And as for the follower count obsession, well, it's about impact and engagement. I think these tactics could have worked a decade ago, and to be fair, maybe even 2 or 3 years ago. But now, it's just noise. And I think it's time to reset the way that you see personal branding. I don't know how many of you have maybe written a post at some point, maybe for LinkedIn, and thought, do you know what? It's a bit too personal. I'm going to delete that. Or maybe you just haven't written one at all because you think, I'm not sure what's too personal or how much I can actually share. And that was very nearly me. I was batching and scheduling my content ahead of my travels, and I was thinking about the concept of legacy. It'd been playing around in my mind. You see, I get asked a lot why I don't have children. And it's a very personal question, but it really got me thinking about the way that I see legacy and the way that I reframe it. I don't think legacy is what you leave behind for children in your will. I think it's about the impact that you have on your nieces, your nephews, your friends' children, your colleagues, your family. That's what it's all about. So I decided to write a post about that, about how I may never be a mum in the traditional sense. But that doesn't mean that I'm not leaving something meaningful behind to someone. It felt raw and personal. And then at 30,000 feet on my way to Lisbon, as I'd scheduled the post, I decided it was way too personal for LinkedIn. So I thought, when I land, I must remember to delete that post. But as life would happen, a reunion with friends, a few drinks, and a good girly catch-up, I completely forgot about it. So it wasn't until the next day that we're eating our way around Lisbon that I connect to Wi-Fi in one of the restaurants, and my phone starts blowing up. And I'm like, what's going on? Notifications, messages, reminders. I'm like, what's happening here? And it wasn't until I opened the LinkedIn app, that one post, that one that I was about to delete, had become my most engaged piece of content to date. So many people resonated with it, sent me messages saying things like, thank you for sharing that. I wouldn't have been brave enough to share that. And it reminded me that when honesty shared with purpose has power. And it cemented something for me that day, that your personal brand isn't about being perfect. Your personal brand is about being real. We are in a new era, a new way of thinking. It's not what you do, it's how do you make people feel. And here's how I think you can build that kind of brand. This was me attempting ballet for the first time in my 40s. Needless to say, I'm not going to be repeating that. But if you want to be seen, then you need to share your struggles as well as your wins. If you want to be understood, then you need to speak to the real problem. If you want to be inspired or inspire people, you need to show possibility in your path. And if you want to be connected with people, well, you need to be human, be honest, and be here. Old legacy thinking is, what will I leave behind? New legacy reality is, what impact am I making now? Legacy is the dad who stops to buy flowers. It's someone who shares their story so someone feels less alone. It's the moment that someone sees your post and thinks, maybe I can do that too. That's legacy. Legacy isn't later. Legacy is now. And it lives in the brand that you show up with every single day. Just before going on holiday this summer, my husband was updating, tidying out his wardrobe, and he was looking at his sunglasses, and he'd said to me, I don't think these suit me anymore. And I have to say, I agreed with him. And I said, no, I don't think these suit you, but I know exactly who I can gift these to. You see, every day I take the same walk home from the gym. And every day I see the same dog, Atlas. He gets very excited, by the way, because he knows now I have treats in my bag. I see the same trees, and I see Shetty. Shetty cleans the park and collects rubbish. And every single day, without fail, he waves and he says, "Hi, ma'am," in 50 degrees heat. I don't think Shetty just cleans the park. I genuinely think he cares for it. So I took the sunglasses into my bag, and the next day I gave them to him. He smiled, so shy, so grateful, and off we went on holiday. Fast forward a few weeks later, I'm coming home from the gym. I see the same dog, still looking for his treats, Atlas, the same trees, but this time something felt different. I wasn't in the right headspace. The world felt heavy, and I was caught up in my own drama and my own story. And as I got to the park, there was Shetty, but this time he was beaming and he was waving something at me. The sunglasses. He didn't just feel seen, he made me feel seen. And in that moment, everything shifted. Why? Because Shetty reminded me of the person that I wanted to be. Your personal brand, it isn't built in the big moments. It's shaped in the small ones. It's not how you're seen, it's how you make other people feel. And if you're lucky, how they make you feel too. That's what lives on. That's your personal brand, and that is your legacy. Thank you.